Welcome in, everybody. Today we're taking a deep dive into Trobe University Careers.
Ooh, Latrobe.
Yeah, and we're going beyond just what you see on the job postings.
Right.
We're going to try to figure out what it's really like to work there.
Cool.
We've got information directly from Trobe, and then we've got some insider perspectives as well.
Very nice.
So whether you are actively job hunting
Mm-hmm.
or just curious about life at Trobe University, stick around.
Yeah, this should be good.
You might be surprised by some of the stuff we found.
I'm excited.
So to help us dig through all this, we have our expert here
Hey, everybody.
who's going to bring all their knowledge and experience to the table
Absolutely.
to help us understand what all this means for somebody like you who might want to work at Trobe.
Let's do it.
All right, so let's jump right in.
Okay.
One of the first things that really stood out to me
Yeah.
was Trobe's emphasis on diversity and inclusion.
Okay.
And this isn't just like a little side note.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
oh yeah, we're inclusive.
A little checkbox.
Yeah, like it's woven into how they envision recruiting.
I see.
They really are aiming to have a workforce that's not just high-performing,
Mm-hmm.
but really reflects the richness of the entire community.
You like that?
Yeah. And what's impressive is they don't just say it. They actually have this program called the Allyship and Mentorship Program,
Oh, wow.
which is specifically designed to support staff from underrepresented groups.
Very cool.
So it shows that they're really serious about creating a culture of inclusion.
Yeah, they're backing it up.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
not just lip service.
Yeah, I like that.
And speaking of backing it up,
Okay.
they seem to also really prioritize employee well-being.
Right.
I was reading through some of their material, and I saw this well-being leave policy.
Well, being leave.
Yeah, it's like this additional leave that staff can take
Mm-hmm.
specifically to focus on their mental and physical health.
So they recognize that people need time to
Yeah.
take care of themselves.
Exactly. And I think that's a refreshing change to see
Totally.
because let's be honest, if your employees aren't doing well, then the economy's not going to do
Yeah,
well.
of course not. You got to take care of your people.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So this well-being leave policy is a pretty big deal.
Yeah, I like that.
It really shows a genuine commitment to supporting their staff as whole people, not just as workers.
For sure.
All right, so now here's where things get really interesting.
Ooh, tell me more.
We have an insider's perspective.
Okay. Insider scoop.
So somebody who's worked at Trobe for 19 years,
Wow, almost 2 decades.
yeah, described the culture as supportive and encouraging.
That's nice.
And they said they feel valued for their contributions.
Okay.
And they specifically mentioned the strong sense of community there
Okay.
and feeling like they have the opportunity to make a real impact through their work.
That's huge.
Yeah, so it's one thing to, read about all these values
Right.
and, see what Trobe says about themselves on their website.
Yeah, like the marketing stuff.
Exactly. But hearing it from someone who's actually lived it
Mm-hmm.
for, almost 2 decades
Yep.
really makes you think, okay, this isn't just some corporate jargon.
It's authentic.
This is the real deal.
I like it.
Yeah. It seems like the values that they're promoting actually translate into the day-to-day experience of working there.
That's awesome.
So now
Okay.
let's dig into some of the frequently asked questions.
The FAQs.
Yeah, that Trobe has on their website.
Makes sense?
Because these give us a glimpse into like the practical side
Right.
of what it's like to work there.
Oh, cool.
So first up, benefits.
Okay, everyone wants to know about benefits.
Yeah, and it's not just a list of perks.
Right.
Like you get dental, you get vision, whatever.
Okay.
They're really emphasizing this idea of creating a supportive and rewarding environment.
Interesting.
And I think that ties back to their commitment to employee well-being.
Makes sense.
It's recognizing that benefits aren't just about compensation.
Mm-hmm.
They're really a crucial part of creating a positive work experience.
Right. Like you feel valued.
Exactly. And that can attract top talent. It's about creating an environment where people feel supported and valued.
Absolutely.
Okay, so next up, diversity.
Okay.
We know it's important to Trobe,
Yeah, they talk about it a lot.
but I'm curious, how do they actually promote it in practice?
Right. Like what are they doing specifically?
Exactly what makes their approach unique.
Good question.
So on top of that mentorship program we were talking about,
The Allyship and Mentorship Program.
yeah, they have a dedicated Indigenous employment strategy,
Oh, wow.
which aims to increase the representation of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people in their workforce.
Okay, so they're being intentional about it.
Yeah, and it involves targeted recruitment efforts,
Mm-hmm.
cultural awareness training for all staff,
Okay.
and partnerships with Indigenous organizations.
So it's a multifaceted approach.
Exactly.
Right.
So they're taking concrete steps
Yeah.
to make sure that their workforce reflects the diversity of the entire community.
Very cool.
Okay, so let's move on to career development.
Okay, career development.
This is key for anyone who's considering a long-term career path.
Of course you want to grow.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what kind of opportunities does La Trobe offer?
Yeah. What do they have?
So they provide a range of professional development opportunities, including leadership training, mentoring programs, and even funding for further education.
Oh, wow. That's great.
Yeah, and I thought this was really interesting. They have this innovation fund.
Innovation fund.
Yeah, it encourages staff to actually develop and implement new ideas
Cool.
that benefit the university.
So they're encouraging people to be creative.
Yeah, they're fostering this culture of creativity
Hmm.
and empowering their employees to contribute to positive change.
I like that.
Yeah, that's really cool.
It is.
They also mentioned this applicant toolkit on their website.
Need an applicant toolkit.
Yeah, have you heard of this before?
I have not.
So from what I understand, it provides guidance and resources
Okay.
specifically for navigating La Trobe's recruitment and application processes. So for anyone listening who might be thinking about applying,
Yeah.
this could be a really useful resource.
Makes sense.
It gives insights into what they look for in candidates.
Oh, so it helps you tailor your application.
Exactly.
That's a good idea.
So that sounds incredibly helpful.
It does.
All right, so now for something a little bit more personal.
Ooh.
Life at La Trobe.
The day-to-day.
Yeah. So what can you tell us about the campus environment
Okay.
and their work-life balance initiatives?
So La Trobe campuses offer a really vibrant and stimulating environment
Okay.
with access to excellent facilities and services.
Nice.
Now, they don't get into specifics,
Right.
but based on their emphasis on work-life balance,
Yeah.
I'm thinking they probably offer things like flexible work arrangements,
Makes sense.
on-site childcare
Oh,
facilities,
like huge.
fitness centers, maybe even social clubs or green spaces just for relaxation.
So like a really well-rounded.
Yeah, like you can live there.
Yeah, exactly. And it sounds like they've created an environment where people can thrive both professionally and personally.
That's the goal.
Okay. Last but not least, let's talk about teaching versus research.
Okay. The big two in academia.
Yeah. La Trobe seems to be equally passionate about both,
Interesting.
which is kind of unique.
Yeah, a lot of universities focus more on one or the other.
Yeah. So what sets them apart in each of these areas?
Well, on the teaching side,
Mm-hmm.
they really pride themselves on providing a nurturing environment for teachers to excel.
Okay.
And they encourage innovative teaching methods and a student-centered approach.
So it sounds like they support their teachers.
Yeah, they want them to do well.
And what about research?
Research, they emphasize interdisciplinary collaboration.
Interdisciplinary collaboration?
Yeah, so that means researchers from different fields come together
Okay.
to work on these big, complex challenges.
That's a cool idea.
It is. It can lead to some really innovative solutions.
So what makes their approach so unique?
Well, they fostered this really thriving research community
Right.
where collaboration is encouraged and supported.
Mm,
So researchers can approach problems from these multiple perspectives,
I see.
leading to more creative and impactful outcomes.
So it's not just like everyone's in their own little silo.
Right. Everyone's working together.
Yeah, they've got these dedicated research centers and institutes
Yeah.
focused on areas like health sustainability and digital innovation.
Those are some hot topics.
And these centers provide researchers with the resources and infrastructure they need to succeed.
Okay, so they're setting them up for success.
Exactly. It sounds like they're really committed to both teaching and research.
Yeah, they're not neglecting either one.
And they're creating a stimulating environment for both.
For sure.
I'm starting to see why they attract such talented people.
Yeah, it's a pretty attractive package.
Oh, before we move on, I just wanted to touch on one more thing.
Okay.
So La Trobe mentions their commitment to equal opportunity
Mm-hmm.
and those Indigenous employment strategies. Can you elaborate a little bit on what those strategies actually entail?
Yeah, and how they impact the workplace.
So these strategies show they're committed to creating a level playing field
Okay.
for all applicants and
Yeah.
employees.
Makes sense.
So the equal opportunity strategy makes sure everyone's treated fairly
Right.
and prevents discrimination based on things like gender, race, religion, or disability.
That's important.
Yeah. And their Indigenous employment strategy,
Mhm.
which we touched on earlier,
Right.
aims to increase the representation of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples
Yeah.
within La Trobe.
Okay.
And that's through targeted recruitment training and partnerships.
So they're really putting in the effort.
It sounds like they're really serious about creating an inclusive and equitable workplace
Absolutely.
for
And,
everyone.
walking the walk.
This has been so insightful.
It has.
We've learned a lot about La Trobe's commitment to diversity
Yeah.
employee well-being, and fostering that supportive and stimulating work environment.
It's impressive.
We've only scratched the surface, though.
I know there's so much more.
So in the next part of our deep dive, we're going to delve even deeper into what makes La Trobe University such a unique and rewarding place to work.
Yeah, wait.
We'll explore the application process, uncover more details about the campus environment, and discuss the specific support offered for both teaching and research roles.
Sounds good.
So stay tuned.
We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. Before we move on, I wanted to add something about that allyship and mentorship program.
Oh, yeah?
It's not just about supporting those from underrepresented groups. It's about building this culture of understanding and allyship across the whole university.
That's a really good point. It's about creating an environment where everybody feels comfortable, supported regardless of their background.
Absolutely.
So let's shift gears a little bit and talk about something that I'm sure is on a lot of listeners' minds.
What's that?
The actual application process.
Yeah, that can be a little scary.
It can be a little daunting, but it seems like La Trobe offers resources to help with that. We talked about the applicant toolkit earlier.
Right.
What kind of information does it provide?
So it seems like it's really specific to La Trobe.
Okay.
It gives you insights into their values, the whole recruitment process, even what they look for in candidates.
Oh, that's helpful.
Yeah, this could be super valuable for anyone applying.
Yeah.
Because it lets you tailor your application to fit exactly what they're looking for.
And show that you've done your research.
Right, exactly. It shows you're serious about working at La Trobe.
Exactly. And not just any university.
I like that.
Okay, so let's say you nail the application.
Okay.
You ace the interview.
You got the job offer.
You get the job offer.
Well,
what's next?
All right, what happens now?
What does life at La Trobe actually look like?
Good question.
We know they have a vibrant campus.
Right.
But what are the specifics?
I wish we had more detail on that.
Yeah.
They mentioned excellent facilities and services,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't really get into specifics.
Okay.
But based on their whole work-life balance and well-being thing, we can speculate a little.
Let's speculate.
Okay, so I'm imagining on-site childcare.
Ooh, for working parents, that's huge.
Yeah, state-of-the-art fitness facilities.
Hey, everybody healthy.
Beautiful green spaces to just chill out, relax during the workday.
That would be nice.
Get away from your desk for a little bit.
I love that it's like a little community.
Yeah.
You don't even have to leave.
Right, it's all right there.
And you mentioned social clubs and professional development outside of the formal training.
Yeah, those are always good to connect with your colleagues.
Yeah.
Learn some new skills and, just be a part of the community.
I love that sense of community.
It makes work feel less like work.
Yeah, exactly.
It's more like you're part of something bigger.
Now, we can't talk about La Trobe without discussing
What's that?
their focus on both teaching and research.
Right. They're both important to them.
And they seem to embrace both equally.
Which is pretty unique.
Yeah, a lot of universities tend to lean one way or the other.
For sure.
So what can you tell us about the environments they offer for teachers and for researchers?
So on the teaching front, they're all about creating a nurturing environment. Where educators can just thrive.
That's nice.
They prioritize student-centered learning, encourage teachers to come up with new, innovative teaching methods.
So they want them to think outside the box.
Yeah.
Sounds like they really value passionate educators.
They do.
Who really care about their students.
Oh, absolutely.
All right. So what about the research side of things?
Research.
We know they have a strong research focus.
Mm-hmm.
But what sets their environment apart?
So their big thing is interdisciplinary collaboration.
Right. We talked about that a little bit.
Yeah, they want researchers from all these different fields to come together, share their expertise, and solve those big, complex problems.
I like that approach.
Yeah, it can lead to some amazing discoveries.
And you mentioned that innovation fund.
Right.
How does that tie into their research efforts?
So it encourages staff to come up with new ideas that benefit not just the university, but also the wider community. So it could be anything from new technologies to new ways of teaching.
It's all about innovation.
Exactly. They want people to be creative and make a real impact.
And speaking of impact, I'm curious about the level of support offered to researchers.
Yeah, what kind of resources are we talking about?
Yeah, do they have state-of-the-art labs?
Well, the material doesn't go into too much detail.
Okay.
But I think it's safe to assume that a university that's so focused on research is going to provide their researchers with the tools they need.
Makes sense.
So yeah, probably cutting-edge labs, access to research grants, technical support, all that good stuff.
Remember that quote from the Trobe veteran?
Oh yeah, the one who's been there for 19 years.
Yeah, they specifically mentioned meaningful research outcomes.
So it's not just research for the sake of research.
It's about making a difference.
Absolutely.
Wow, we've covered a lot of ground.
Yeah.
Diversity, inclusion, employee well-being, the application process,
Right.
life at La Trobe for both teachers and researchers.
It's a pretty amazing place.
But there's still more to explore.
There is.
In the final part of our deep dive,
Right.
we're going to go even deeper into La Trobe's commitment to diversity and inclusion
Okay.
and how they put their words into action.
I like it. Stay tuned.
And we're back for the final part of our deep dive into La Trobe University Careers.
I always feel like the last part goes by so fast.
I know, right?
But we've covered so much good stuff already.
We have. We've learned about their commitment to their employees,
Right.
their focus on a positive and supportive environment,
Definitely.
and their dedication to making a real impact.
Through teaching and research.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But before we wrap things up, I want to circle back to something we've touched on throughout this whole deep dive.
What's that?
La Trobe's dedication to diversity and inclusion. So we know they've got all these policies and strategies,
Right.
but how does that actually play out in real life?
Yeah. What does it actually look like to work there?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So how do they create that genuinely inclusive environment?
Right. Where everyone feels like they belong?
For everyone, regardless of their background or identity?
Good question.
So we've talked about some examples.
Right. The allyship and mentorship program.
Yeah, and the Indigenous employment strategy.
Yeah, those are big ones.
And those are great. But what other things are they doing?
To create that sense of belonging.
So they don't go into a ton of detail,
Okay.
but they talk a lot about creating a supportive and rewarding environment,
Right.
which makes me think they're really mindful of the needs of a diverse workforce.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So things like flexible work arrangements
Okay.
to accommodate family commitments,
Right.
cultural awareness training to help everyone understand and respect each other,
For sure.
and maybe even affinity groups,
Oh, yeah.
where people from similar backgrounds can connect.
And support each other.
Exactly. So it's not just about hiring a diverse workforce.
Right. It's about creating the right culture.
It's about creating a culture where everyone feels comfortable
Exactly.
being themselves.
Yeah, you want people to bring their whole selves to work.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it sounds like La Trobe gets that.
It seems like they do.
They're putting in the effort.
Well, which is awesome.
This deep dive has been so insightful.
I agree.
We've learned so much.
About what it's really like to work at La Trobe.
Yeah, their commitment to their employees
Their focus on well-being.
and their dedication to making a difference.
It's inspiring.
So as we wrap up, I want to leave our listeners with a thought.
What?
Imagine yourself as part of this community.
At La Trobe.
What kind of impact could you make?
That's a great question.
What unique skills and perspectives could you bring to the table?
Yeah, think about it.
And for those of you who are interested in La Trobe's research opportunities, you can find a full list of their open positions on academicjobs.com.
Oh, that's a great resource.
It is, if you're looking to start an academic career.
I highly recommend checking it out.
That wraps up our deep dive into La Trobe University Careers.
And that's a wrap.
We hope you found it informative
And engaging.
and maybe even a little inspiring.
Yeah, maybe you'll apply.
Until next time, happy career exploring.